there was one body type for women that was being promoted, and that body type was super skinny and really tall. Two things of which I am not. Hi guys, and welcome back to LVH Talks. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today. So if you'd like to comment on today's subject, please post it below. It's been really good reading all of your comments and opinions recently. That's exactly why I made the channel. So please keep them coming. It's really interesting to read what you have to say. Now, today's subject is body positivity. Now, this is quite a big subject right now. It's something that I feel like a lot of people have quite a strong opinion on, due to the fact that there's some part of it somewhere they can relate to, and I'm probably one of those people. You know, I have had weight issues for as long as I can remember. Whether that be issues with the size that I'm at, or just an insecurity about my body in general. Like, there's always been some kind of insecurity there for me for the longest period of time, and it's something that has definitely eased as I've gotten older, but it's still there, and I still know it's there, and I'm aware that it's there. But I remember being in school, which, bear in mind, was a time where there was one body type for women that was being promoted, and that body type was super skinny and really tall. Two things of which I am not. So you can imagine the struggle of a teenage girl who, you know, is trying to look like someone and be like someone who she would never be able to become, simply because her body type just is not that. So I was at school, and I remember having a really hard time with weight and looks and appearance, which I think, you know, is a general struggle for a lot of teenagers at that point in time of their life. But I remember it affected me to a point, and it was not because of the people around me. It was not being influenced necessarily by the people around me. It was more media based. I was influenced by media. I didn't realise it at the time, but that was what was going on. And I remember it was because, you know, the TV shows and the magazines at the time were, all the women had the same body type. They looked the same. And so it projected this image that if you don't look like this, there's something wrong with you. If you don't look like this, you will not be accepted. And that seemed to be the message that was getting across, not only to me, but I would say a lot of girls my age at the time. And so it ended up having a big impact on me, because what it did was I went through a phase in school where I wouldn't eat breakfast. Sometimes I then wouldn't eat lunch, and I would then binge on an evening, which, looking back now, I can see how problematic that was. But at the time, I'm young, I'm impressionable, and I thought, in my own way, I was being healthier by making those decisions. Obviously, that was not the case. But that was my way of trying to look like the ideal. I was going to the extreme to try and get my body to look a certain way because of what I was seeing in the media. Now, what I find funny about this now is that if I just looked around me, I would have seen so many people who had my body type, but I didn't do that. I was looking in all the wrong places. I was focused too much on the media, which is, you know, creates a false sense of reality. That was kind of, particularly at the time, that was its purpose. So I was focused way too much on that, and not enough on the fact that actually there were so many other people like me. But I couldn't see that then. So I do think that the media has a lot to answer for. I think it's still as influential now as it used to be, just in different ways. And so body positivity being a theme, I think, is very important, and some, we're going in the right direction in terms of acceptance and providing people representation so that they feel like they belong, so that they feel like they're normal, and that's, I think, in many ways, that's all people really want, especially when they're young, right? So it's good. We're going in the right direction in that respect. However, I do think that, as I always say about a lot of these topics, is that balance is always needed and is important. It's the way to function is through balance. And so at what point does striving for acceptance and inclusivity lead to promoting unhealthy body types? Now, we could argue that particularly at my time, when I was younger, I'm old now apparently, when I was younger, I, definitely think this idea of being super skinny, I think that it was promoting a bit of an unhealthy body type, or at the very least an unhealthy relationship with food because of super skinny, right? Now, at the time that we're in now, today, I do think that that's changed slightly, and I think what's being promoted now is the bigger body type, which again, nothing wrong with as long as you're healthy. And I think that's the thing, is that we need to be careful how we promote acceptance and how we promote inclusivity, because it could very easily be misinterpreted as, this is what you should strive for. And I think that's my concern at this point in time, is just, where is the line here? Where is the line? Because although, like I said, I've struggled with weight issues my whole life. I've been bigger, I've been smaller, I've been lots of different shapes and sizes just in a short period of time, due to, my relationship with food, when I've gone through phases of not eating enough, to a phase where I've eaten too much, to a phase where hormonally there's some kind of hormonal imbalance, and so it didn't matter what I ate, I was gonna put on weight, So I've been through lots of different phases, which has made me change shape. So understand me when I say that I can empathize with anyone struggling with weight in whatever capacity that's in. But I do think that in terms of how the media present it to other people is vital, because, like I said, young people can be very impressionable and very influenced by what they see. And if they misinterpret the message, they may strive for unhealthy weights, much like I was doing. They may make decisions that are unhealthy for them to become something that, either they won't become because it's impossible for them to become, or that's unhealthy for them to become. And so I think that, that we haven't quite got the balance right yet, I don't think, personally, but I think we're well on our way to getting it right. I think it's just at the minute we seem to be going from one extreme to the other in many different areas of life, and I think that there's kind of an ongoing theme with that at the minute, that we seem to be kind of heading towards an extreme that's creating some external issues to current problems. So I do think as well that it needs to be said that there is a difference between worrying about someone's health and caring about their well-being and simply bullying someone for their appearance. There's a difference, massive difference. And I think that the problem that we're having almost links back to my previous video about have we become too sensitive? Because the thing is that we still need to have difficult conversations or uncomfortable conversations sometimes. And if we're unable to do that because we're tiptoeing around each other, it means that we're going to, continue to make unhealthy decisions for ourselves that lead to bigger problems later. And so there needs to be, again, we need to be able to differentiate between the two. We need to be able to have conversations about health and well-being without being labeled as bullying, without being labeled as, being insensitive. You can be kind and be direct at the same time, is my point, So I do think that we need to make sure that we're not confusing body positivity, inclusivity, acceptance with these are the bodies that you should strive to become. Because it may not be the healthiest message to put out there. And I do think, I know that we all come in different shapes and sizes, and I do think that you can be a certain size and be told by a doctor that you are a picture of health. I don't think size always indicates health problems, but I do think there is obviously a correlation there sometimes, that being a certain size can lead to health problems. And so we have to still acknowledge that, because that's just a biological fact. And we can't be promoting body types that are unhealthy just for acceptance. There needs to be that balance. We need to be able to say people come in different shapes and sizes, but we also need to take care of ourselves, and we need to make sure that, we are still healthy and we're still, maintaining a healthy weight. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? Like I said, I've had issues with weight for most of my life, and will probably continue to do so. I don't think that that's going to go away, but I think I do put a lot of that down to how it's represented in the media, which is why I think the position that we're in now and the changing perspectives of weight, we need to be careful how we move forward, because we don't want to have similar problems, by trying to... It's almost like, I feel like when you go from one extreme to the other, you almost create the same problem all over again. So I think that, again, they need to be careful with how they represent weight in the media to prevent people from, being in positions like me, which do tend to impact you for the rest of your life. It's something that you have to work on for the rest of your life. So I feel like this is an opportunity as well to get it right. And unfortunately, I do think that a lot of that is in the hands of the media rather than in the hands of the public, because we can only do so much, right? But we know how much the media has an impact on us. So we do need to be careful. But anyway, what are your thoughts on the subject? What do you think? Please comment below, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.